Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in this week to This Georgia Clay. So in this week's vlog, we are working on our primary bedroom, getting it ready for all of the burr months. And I really wanted to start in our bedroom in terms of making it just a cozy, inviting space for Matt and I at the end of the day. Once we get done with all of our projects, work, all of those things, parenting, all of that we needed somewhere that we can just go relax, you know, set our phones down, which we normally don't do. Ideally, I wanted it to be a space, like I said, somewhere where we can just retreat at the end of the day. So in this week's vlog, we are starting the very first area of our room, our staple point, our focal point in our room. And I really wanted a fireplace. Now, you know, if you've been watching This Georgia Clay for a while, that in our last home that we recently sold, that we did have a fireplace in that room. That was the very first fireplace that my husband has ever built, and he watched it or learned how to build it by watching a YouTube vlog. And fast forward to now, he's built, this one is number, I think 10 that you've built already, 10 or 11. We'll have to put a little number count. Maybe we'll show something that shows each one. But anyhow, so he's built so many now, and he has each time with each fireplace, he has definitely has stepped up his skills in terms of, like, a lot of them he's only done one time. I think he's only repeated a horizontal shiplap fireplace maybe twice, one for our room, and then I think he built 2 other ones for a client, but everything else has all been different. So the one that we are sitting here in my office, we'll put up a picture of that fireplace that my husband built, and I absolutely love it. And I've decorated this office right now for Christmas, and if you've seen it on my Instagram, it's all done up, but I didn't change some of the areas yet, but I just wanted to not show everything because we're going to get into Christmas in about 2 weeks or so. But I wanted to show that fireplace because, like I said, it's the very first time that he's ever built a taper style fireplace, and I really wanted that, so he put that in this office for me. And then I went back and forth if I wanted that same look in our primary bedroom, but again, I was like, you know what, let's go ahead and change it up a little bit. And I've always wanted a vertical shiplap fireplace with a surround on it, and so that is the inspiration for this project today, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So I cannot wait to share it with you guys. Don't fast forward to the very end because trust me, this vlog is indeed a treat. So let's go ahead and get into it. But first, Matt has an update on our basement, and then we'll get into the project.
Guys, I just wanted to jump in real quick and give you a quick update on our basement situation, which we're loving. As you guys know, if you watched the video on this space, we painted everything dark, customized it to make it our little movie room getaway space. But I wanted to make our 8-wall 3500 Pro a little bit more hidden, so I worked with Nothing Projector. They offer everything from projectors, screens, all the way up to a laser TV cabinet, which kind of sparked my interest because I kind of wanted the projector not to be out all the time and so obvious. So I wanted it to be kind of tucked away, which this laser cabinet was perfect for. We went with the short black motorized laser TV cabinet, which worked perfect for this space because it not only looks sleek, it uses power from the projector to trigger the actual drawer that it sits in to slide out or in if the projector is on or off. Now, I will give you fair warning, they do have a walkthrough video that shows you how to build this. Definitely recommend watching this from start to finish before you even begin. There's a lot of pieces, so it can be a little intimidating, but you know, as you can see here, it got kind of crazy. But once you get everything kind of figured out and you get a little workflow going, it got a little better as I went along. So as you can see, this is one separate cabinet. There's a total of 3 cabinets that you have to build. Each one has its own little pop down door with a mesh front, so that way your remote will work through the cabinet, and that way you don't have any issues with powering on the projector. The most critical part here is putting the base together. This unit here is where the actual projector sits on top of and slides out and in. It's pretty heavy, so just keep that in mind. But once you get everything put together, I think it took me maybe a couple of hours to finish everything. it was a lot of work, but definitely worth it. So I'm just getting my area cleaned up here, getting the old base put away, which for right now is just going to be the guest bedroom closet, but you know how that goes, out of sight, out of mind. But for now, let's go ahead and get this thing put together and situate it so we can see what it looks like. So this is pretty cool. I pushed the power button on the remote through the mesh so the signal is not interrupted or anything, but you can see that it slides out on its own. This is automatic. And then it has a little lip in the middle that dips down so that the light from the projector can shine straight up to the screen, which I thought was pretty awesome, and keeps everything tucked away when you're not using it. But I'm just gonna play the footage of it going back in. So everything kind of slides back in. So as the screen is coming down, the drawer that the projector is in also slides back in. This is all automated. You don't have to do anything except push the power button on the remote and you're good to go. So here it is. This is the exact look I was going for, just a little more sleek, a little more put together and intentional looking to me. So if you guys are interested, I'll put a link in the description for you to check out Nothing Projector. But thanks again for them partnering with us. Now let's go ahead and get this fireplace built in our bedroom.
So of course we had to take a stop over to Lowe's to load up some new lumber for our fireplace. And for some reason, we haven't been shopping at Home Depot as much. We've been at Lowe's. And I think it's just because it's just a nicer like ambiance, if that makes sense. I feel like Home Depot is like always dirty. I don't know. So comment below if you prefer Home Depot or Lowe's. But this is the inspiration for our fireplace. I really wanted something that had a vertical shiplap. I've been wanting a vertical shiplap fireplace for the longest. And so this was our opportunity to do that. When looking over inspo for a modern European bedroom or even home in general, they did have shiplap in those particular homes. Wall treatments, just things to give it a little bit more of a cozy vibe. So I was like, you know what, we're gonna go ahead with the vertical shiplap. I feel like it'll provide it to be more seamless and modern at the same time as well, rather than horizontal. So here I am taking down the baseboards for Matt. He went ahead and marked them out for me. But of course, in the spirit of trying to assist him as best as I can, I went ahead and removed the baseboards for him. So once the baseboard was removed, I'm done for my time. I'll come back and help Matt a little bit later on. But he went ahead and marked out the studs in the wall with his stud finder. You want to make sure that you, anytime working with, building a fireplace or anything, to mark the studs, because the worst thing is to make a beautiful fireplace and realize that you didn't hit enough studs or any studs at all. So Matt always uses a nail gun just to put it in place, or the stud that he's going to use in place before he starts to build off of that to build the template for the fireplace. So it just helps, so that way he's not holding it up there, but he'll go back and then put some screws in there to make sure everything is nice and sturdy. So once the boards were in place for the studs he was going to use, it was time to go ahead and build the fireplace. Now, I'm not the best at explaining how to build this fireplace, so I'll go ahead and let Matt take it over from here.
Hey guys, so let's do some math here. So Brittany wanted a 10-inch deep fireplace, and accounting for the shiplap, which is a 1/2 inch, that means I needed the frame to come off of the wall 9.5 inches. So that meant I needed to figure out how deep I needed the sides to be, and that also includes the boards that I already had on the wall, which is 1.5 inches thick. So that means I needed 8 inches of side support for the fireplace sides, and then from there I can go ahead and build my middle frame. For all you guys that have watched us for a while, you guys have seen me build quite a few fireplaces at this point. So for me, it's kind of like putting a puzzle together. It might seem like a lot, but once you get used to it, it's really not super difficult. And trust it, I believe in all of you guys, so I know you can do it if you put your mind to it. But if you just see here, I'm cutting my bottom supports, my side supports, and all of this is laid out in the instructions from the manufacturer for the fireplace insert that you buy. They'll tell you how wide and how tall the rough opening needs to be. The rough opening means the raw wood opening for the fireplace to sit in, and from there you can build everything around that. For my TV supports, I usually put 2 studs in to support the TV, but you can do more if you want. Totally doesn't matter. Whatever suits your needs. This is the best part about building your own stuff, is because you can tailor it to exactly what you want. So this big hunk of wood you see right in the middle, I knew that Brittany wanted a fireplace around that was stacked with 1x8, 1x6, and 1x4. All 3 of those pieces together has a little bit of a weight to it, so I didn't want it to be too heavy to start to pull on the nails. So I put that middle support piece, which is usually what I use for mantles, but I still put that there so that I could eventually drill the 1x8 into that, just to help support the weight of the whole fireplace around that we had in mind. And since the majority of the fireplace is going to be vertical shiplap, I added a few extra pieces here horizontally, just so that I had a few extra spots to nail into, and it adds stability for the vertical shiplap so it doesn't flex when you push on it.
So once Matt went ahead and assembled all of the pieces necessary to build the fireplace, he started to go ahead and build it out from the wall. So our son Jalen was helping him as well. I always tell the kids that it's good to, just work with us on some of the projects just to gain a skill, because one day you might be doing it in your own home. So here's the front face of the fireplace. You could always build it piece by piece, but Matt likes to build the frame and then bring it into the house. So here he is just sliding it in. And sometimes you might have to pivot and make adjustments, because what if your ceiling isn't exactly 9 feet in one area? It could be, 8 feet, 5/8 or something like that. So just took a little bit of maneuvering to get the front face in, but once it was in place, it really started to take shape. Shout out to our friends at Touchstone Home Products for sending over the new Fireplace Pro 33-inch smart electric fireplace insert. And guys, it has a built-in fire crackle sound, which is amazing. This is the model 80072, and I absolutely love it. I opted for a 4-inch surround. So you can have a surround just to give it a little bit more girthiness to the fireplace, just to make it look a little bit more substantial. But one thing I do love about this firebox is that this one is designed to replace, say for example, if you had an existing gas fireplace and maybe for some reason it doesn't work any longer, or you wanted to switch over to electric, this definitely is a great replacement for that. So I definitely love the customization of this particular unit. Again, here's the available trim kits. You can do a standard 1-inch, 2-inch option, or a 4-inch option. Again, I went with the 4-inch option just to provide it a little bit more, just to be more substantial inside of our insert. It does come with decorative rocks, just to give it more of like the fire at the bottom, the embers to be more realistic, and the flame, once you guys see it on, is amazing. But Matt's just following the directions to remove the packaging screws that it comes with, and also the front plate, so therefore we can access the wood and glass beads. 4-inch trim kit definitely does give it that vibe that I was going for. And so Matt's just making sure that it fits within the frame of the fireplace. This fireplace depth is only 10 inches. So just keep that in mind, that it's really nice and sleek and low profile, just to make sure that it doesn't take up too much room in our house. So Matt went ahead and put the wood pieces that come in there, just like, you know, the fire logs inside of the fireplace insert. You'll want to make sure to do this, you know, how you would prefer your fireplace to look. This is all customizable here, but we're just putting the logs, no given order or anything. There's not, like I said, a manual in terms of how you're supposed to lay the logs in there. And then once he went ahead and put the logs into the fireplace insert, we went ahead and add the crushed rock as well, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. So Matt's just going through the different options that you have with fireplace. It does come with a remote, so it does provide heat as well. It does have backlighting, downlighting. It's just an incredible feature, lots of features. It is smart, so you can set it up with Wi-Fi as well. And then I'm just adding a little bit more of the rocks there, just to bring down the light just a little bit. And once we had it just right, it was time to go ahead and move on to adding the shiplap and getting the fireplace really pretty.
I wanted to save you guys from all the math involved, but I like symmetry, so I laid everything out on the ground as if it were on the fireplace. That way I could figure out the math it took to make sure everything was symmetrical. Meaning that the piece that I cut for the left and the right side were exactly the same, and then it was full boards all the way across. So when you look at the whole fireplace, it doesn't look like I just started putting shiplap up and then ended up with a slither or a piece that's too small. And here I overlapped the side of the fireplace frame with a 1/2 inch, because that's the thickness of the shiplap itself, so that when I do the sides, everything lines up nice and flush. And guys, I had done so much math at this point, I just wanted to make it easy. So I put up the piece of shiplap to overlap the opening, and then traced it with a pencil so I could take it outside and then use the jigsaw to cut that piece out. So if you guys are ever in doubt, just don't think about it too much. Just trace it out, cut it out, and then you'll be done. So a lot of times you don't always need to measure. So do whatever is easiest, whatever works for you and makes the project look good. And just in case anybody was curious, yes, I did allow for enough space for the door to open completely. So I did do the math for that too. It was time to start with our stacked layered surround look. So I did that with again a 1x8, a 1x6, and a 1x4 all stacked on top of each other to give you kind of like that step down look. But ultimately it's just 45-degree angles, but you just want to make sure that you cut both sides to fit exactly around the fireplace insert. So that's what I'm doing here. So let's go ahead and get that part done.
Now, as Matt mentioned, I wanted a surround around this fireplace. Yes, the Shiplap fireplace just being vertical would have been beautiful as well, but as you know, at this Georgia Clay, we like to challenge ourselves and do something a little bit different in each fireplace install that we've done in our home. So I wanted to have something that was three-dimensional and also allowed me to actually use a functional mantle for Christmas decor, anything. Even if I wanted to just put a candle on the fireplace, I definitely wanted to be able to do that. So we're just using a 1x8, and then off of the 1x8, we're building with a 1x6. Then there'll be a 1x4, and we'll follow the same template around the fireplace surround, making sure to cut each piece at a 45-degree angle as well.
So it was time to build the surround, like the waterfall edge surround that goes around the fireplace. So I used some wood glue and basically just cut 3 pieces at 45 degrees to fit around that surround that you just saw us build. But the wood glue, I just dabbed it on, and then I also used what's called instant bond. So on one piece you put the instant bond, and then the other piece you put the spray. That's like the activator. And then as soon as you touch the two together, then it's basically instantly bonded. And that just helps to speed up the building process, so you can hurry up and get to the next step. But ultimately the wood glue will still dry underneath. So I put this together and then let it sit for about an hour or so before I took it in the house to do the final install.
Now, I knew I wanted a framed TV in our bedroom, but again, I've had a Samsung framed TV before, and I just wasn't willing to invest in that particular price tag this time around for this home. So we went ahead and purchased a Hisense Canvas TV is what it's called. And with the Canvas TV and also the TCL frame TV that I have in my office, it has a regular plug, so you really need a recessed outlet. So Matt went ahead and put in an outlet for us. We'll have this particular outlet linked in my LTK page, so you can purchase it if you're wanting to build your own. But I definitely recommend it because it allows you to have that flat install that you'll need for the Canvas TV, but you definitely need one. I wish that they came with a plug that was already flat, just like the plug that comes with a Samsung frame TV, but unfortunately they're not there yet in terms of the plug. But also, I'll also link in my LTK page because for my TCL frame TV, I did purchase a different plug that I was able to use instead of the one that comes with it. So that's an option if you don't have the means to put in your own electrical. You can use a different plug with the TV to still have that flat shape. Once the frame was installed on the fireplace, it was time to bring in the mantle surround. So Matt went ahead and attached it to the front of the fireplace and made sure that everything was nice and secured. And then we'll come back and caulk everything and make it look all pretty and finish it up. I really love the profile of this Hisense Canvas TV. Again, the price between this one and the TCL are very spot on. I believe for this one, this is a 55-inch model. It was $6.99 is what I paid for. It was on sale. It is Google TV as well. So any apps that you have or you're used to the Google platform, definitely I would recommend. And in terms of the quality of the artwork, again, if you had a frame TV with Samsung, I don't think there's a comparison. However, if you want something that's cost effective, I think this one is awesome. And if you never had one, you wouldn't know the difference anyway. So definitely would recommend, especially for the price range. So I'm just doing a little light washing or wiping down of the Shiplap because the paint I'm using is the paint that the builders left for the wall, and it's thin. So trying to get off as much pencil markings as I can, so therefore I don't have to worry about like doing multiple coats to get this cleaned off. So that's what I'm doing here, trying to get some of Matt's pencil markings off, and then I'll let this dry for a little bit, and then I'll come back and start the painting process. But it looks so good. So yes, I am painting with a back brace on. I don't know what I did, but I turned too fast, got up too fast. I don't know. You know, when you get older, I feel like 37 is kicking me in the butt. But when you know, get older, things don't really move or catch up with you in terms of what your mind says you can do. So yes, I am painting with the back brace on, but the show must go on. And so I am just using our paint again that came with the builder. This is PPG Delicate White is the color, and it's in a flat finish. So I have painted the fireplace, and I wish y'all can see it in person because I absolutely love her so much. But I painted, like I said, the same color as the walls. Some of the walls that you see here, there's a shadow, and also it's wet because I did touch up some spots. Might as well since I had the paint up. But the fireplace itself is done. Now I'll wait for this to dry so I can tape it off and then paint the surround, because the surround will be accessible beige. But I love her so much. So yeah, so that'll be the next stage. So I'll give it about an hour or so, let it dry, which I'm pretty sure an hour is way too long since this paint is pretty thin from the builder. But I did a couple of coats. Didn't want to bore you guys with like just seeing me paint, but here is along the sides of the fireplace, which Matt did such an incredible job. So I did go ahead and paint that, same on both sides. And like I said, wait for it to dry, I'll come back, set up the camera, and then I'll show you guys the final look of everything all painted. So of course I forgot to caulk some of the seams, so I had to do that before I can paint. With this paintable caulk, you're able to paint within 30 minutes. So I did go ahead and paint all of the additional touches that I need to make sure everything was seamless, and then I was able to come back and paint. The color that I'm using is accessible beige. It's the same color that I used in our guest powder room, and I just love that color. But I went back and forth in terms of if I wanted to have the fireplace be this color and then this round to be white, but I love that I decided to go ahead and just have this be a focal point, the surround, and have the fireplace just fade into the background. But I love it, and I love the contrast. Alright guys, so let me know in the comments what you think of our beautiful fireplace. I absolutely love it. Again, shout out to Touchstone Home Products for sending us over this beautiful Fire Plug Pro Series fireplace insert. I love it. I think that we're going to do another one either in our loft or another kid's bedroom, but I'm just debating on that. But I definitely will be choosing the same insert. I absolutely love it, and I recommend this one. I love it. All of them are great, but I just love how the fire looks really realistic on this one. And plus I love the crackle sound. So maybe I'm impartial to it because I definitely love that. And so hopefully you guys can hear that, but you can adjust the volume for the crackle sound, and it's just such a vibe at the end of the night. Matt and I are loving it. But I love the surround. My husband did a wonderful job, knocked it out of the park, and I love it. I feel like I come in to do all the painting and stuff, but I mean, you know, my mother-in-law pointed out if I didn't have a canvas to work on, then I definitely wouldn't have anything to paint, and she's right. I love it. It's beautiful. Definitely a joint effort in terms of making our designs come to life, but I definitely don't want to take away his credit because he did a great job with this one, and I think it's my favorite fireplace of them all, so that he's ever built for me, and I love it. So thank you so much, baby. So for this one, again, we went with the Hisense Canvas TV is what it's called. I keep wanting to call it a frame TV, but it's called a Canvas TV. And it does have an Etsy print on here that I purchased. I'll link it in the description if you guys would like to purchase it. Again, on my LTK page, everything here that I'm able to will be linked. We're not done with this area. We still have some other things that are coming to show the whole room. And next week, we should be able to do the final reveal of the bedroom. But I love this fireplace. From the surround to the vertical shiplap still gives it that modern European aesthetic in terms of the surround being very traditional and substantial, and then the vertical shiplap just providing that modern like look on doing a shiplap fireplace. So if I would have done it horizontal, I think that would have leaned more towards like farmhouse or anything, but doing it vertical definitely gives it a little bit more of a modern edge. And I think it's beautiful. The colors that we used again are, this is PPG paint, and the color is called Delicate White in a flat base. And then this is in satin, and this is Sherwin-Williams Accessible Beige, which is the same color that we use in our powder bathroom. And I loved it so much that I wanted to bring it back here. And I just love the color tone. I feel like it would have been beautiful all white, but it's exceptional with the two-tone color. So I love it. I mean, I keep saying that, but I do. I do. It's beautiful. This will change soon for Christmas. I finally have a mantle, and Matt mounted the TV high enough for me to put things here. So I finally have a mantle to put some garland on and things. I've already practiced, and it looks so beautiful. We do have some things that are coming for our bedroom, like this. The candles in there will change. I'm thinking that I'm gonna light them because this one stands perfectly, but then this one doesn't. These are from Creative Co-op, which are on Amazon. I will link them in the description, but I love just the color tone of it. And then also it kind of has a fluted detail in it. One thing I wanted to go back to the Canvas TV is that it does come with the frame. That's one thing that I do love about either the TCL or the Hisense, is that they do come with a frame. When I had my Samsung Frame TV, it does not come with a frame, and you have to purchase it, and that is an additional cost. It's beautiful. In terms of the quality of the art projected on the TV, it is, if you've ever had a Samsung Frame TV, there's no comparison. I think they have it nailed down in terms of it's Samsung. They've been building TVs for a very long time, and they really have that Frame TV dialed in. However, if you are someone that wants something that's cost effective with the same look or aesthetic, then I definitely would recommend either the Hisense or the TCL. But if you've never had one, then you really wouldn't know the difference in terms of the quality of the picture. It's just a little bit different, but it still has the matte finish here, so it doesn't give off that glare or anything to let you know that, you know, it is a TV. Now, in our old home, we did have a regular TV and we made a frame for it, and I just would play YouTube on there. That's perfectly fine. You can do that too. But if you do have the funds and wanted to upgrade and, you know, splurge just a little bit, you can get it a great deal while it's on sale. This was $6.99 to 55-inch when it was on sale, and they have sales all the time. We got it from Best Buy, and it came pretty quickly. Now, one thing about Best Buy when you are ordering online, I always have an issue of I can never get it when it says. They always call me and say it's been delayed. So if you can pick it up from the store, I definitely would recommend that. So we didn't have our car at the time. We just now have our new Model X, and now we're able to go pick up our own deliveries rather than having things delivered, which I prefer. So I love the fireplace. It's beautiful. I cannot wait to build another one. But this is the last project that we are going to be doing for this year. Everything else will transition over to Christmas decor, all of the things for Christmas really soon. So I cannot wait to share that for you. 2025 is going to be amazing, especially being able to decorate in my beautiful home for the very first time this year is very sentimental to me and our family. and I cannot wait to share all those things with you guys. So again, thank you so much for tuning in this week to This Georgia Clay. Please make sure you like, subscribe, share it with a friend, and we will see you guys next week when we get to transform this beautiful room and really call it our own. Bye guys.